The Italian Grand Prix was an incredible race. Unless you're a Lando Norris fan, then it was another weekend of pain and disappointment. The combination of yet another poor lap 1 and an excellent call from Carlos Sainz to put Ferrari onto a one-stop race gave Charles Leclerc the thinnest of advantages, which he leveraged into a race win. What could have been a win for Norris ended as a third place, which is 10 points dropped in his pursuit of Max Verstappen and the Drivers' Championship. Calls for team orders at McLaren are ringing out around the sport, so today I'll check out McLaren's 180 on favouring Lando Norris, and whether it is right for them to do so. So don't go anywhere. Name a more iconic duo than Lando Norris and losing positions on lap 1. At Monza, his race start appeared to be solid until Oscar Piastri's brave move into turn 4 took the race lead off his teammate. Norris then lost second place to Charles Leclerc and was unable to make a retaliatory move on the Ferrari driver. Charles managed to open a vital 1-second gap to Lando by lap 4, breaking the DRS window, and from then on, Norris was unable to get back within range. It wasn't until lap 13 that he got back within DRS range, but McLaren decided to pit him on lap 14 to attempt an undercut on Leclerc, which worked to great effect, not that it made a difference in the end. While Lando lost the DRS to Leclerc on lap 4, Leclerc managed to stay within range of Piastri until lap 10, but after that, Piastri improved his gap to Leclerc by roughly half a second a lap until the pit stops began. Over that opening stint, from lap 2 to 13, Oscar Piastri was, on average, 0.205 seconds a lap faster than his teammate. While Lando might be in a fight for the Drivers' Championship, there can't be any question that Piastri was deserving of the race lead at the end of the first stint, as he was consistently faster than his teammate after making the pass on lap 1. Lando will be most disappointed that he couldn't hold off the move from Oscar, but sometimes the brilliance of an overtake means there is nothing you can do to defend. Oscar was alongside at the first apex, was entitled to the car width of space that Lando left him, and made the most of it. Shockingly, Norris is yet to convert a pole position into a race lead by the end of lap 1 over his entire F1 career. 7 times now he's lost the lead of the race on lap 1. It's an issue that Lando will know needs fixing. While Lando will have been gutted he couldn't bag the full 25 points for a race win in Italy, he still managed to make a dent into Max Verstappen's Drivers' Championship lead. With his extra point for fastest lap, Lando outscored Max by 8 points, bringing the gap down to 62 points with 8 races left. If he continues to take 8 more points a weekend than Max does, he'll win the championship by 2 points, so the positive spin would be that it was job done. Still on track for the championship, let's do it again in Baku. However, there were more points available. Lando would definitely have been helped if Oscar hadn't passed him on lap 1, and could have secured 3 more points if Oscar had let Lando pass over the closing laps when it was clear he couldn't catch Leclerc. The team were questioned after the race as to why the two drivers were allowed to fight when Lando is chasing the Drivers' Championship. McLaren's team principal Andrea Stella has said they will review team orders with a view to backing Lando Norris in his bid to beat Max Verstappen in the Formula 1 World Championship. Norris has, for several races, appeared the only realistic challenger to Red Bull's Verstappen, but McLaren have insisted their drivers are free to race, and they did so at Monza. McLaren faced repeated questions afterwards as to why they had not imposed team orders to back Norris, and why they'd not switched the order of their drivers at the death to maximise Norris's potential points gain against Verstappen. Stella conceded that now he believed the team were genuinely in a fight with Verstappen and Red Bull for both championships. They would consider fully backing Norris for the remaining 8 rounds. It looks a little brutal if you ask a driver who is going to win a race he gained on track that you have to swap positions, but we will review all these things for the next races, he said. If we come to the conclusion together that swapping is the right thing to do, then we will do it. McLaren now trail Red Bull by only 8 points in the Constructors' Championship, but this is the first time this season that they appear to have accepted that they have a real shot at the Drivers' Championship. A realization that many will argue is somewhat late, given Norris has been eking into Verstappen's lead for some time, and with Red Bull's recent drop in performance. It now looks like the Drivers' Championship is definitely a possibility, said Stella. We were a little cautious before Monza, but now we can see that McLaren can compete at circuits, where last year we were not competitive. Lando is obviously in the best position from a numbers point of view. We're fighting Max Verstappen, so I think if we want to give support to one driver, we certainly have to pick the one who is in the best position, and Lando has been doing very well. The team did invoke some kind of team rules during the race. The drivers were told that papaya rules were in play, a reference to the colour of the McLaren car. What exactly that means, the team haven't said, but when pushed on it, it seemed to be something to do with a pre-race agreement that the team come to, potentially similar to the one from the Hungarian Grand Prix, where Oscar Piastri was given the race win by his teammate as he was leading the race at the first round of pit stops. It also potentially means that the two are free to race as long as they don't take each other out of the race. Andrea Stella has a lot of experience in F1 and knows the impact of team orders. Before joining McLaren, he was a race engineer for both Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso at Ferrari, when both benefited from calls by the team to promote them ahead of teammates, Rubens Barrichello in Schumacher's case and Felipe Massa in Alonso's. Even with Ferrari, when there was a successful driver, the successful driver was successful because he gained the success on track, Stella said. Even in the cases when there was a blatant support of one of the drivers, I'm not sure that didn't actually backfire. If one driver doesn't kind of accept that we have a certain way of going racing, we're not going to succeed. These won't be easy discussions for the team to have. While Oscar is far less likely to be in the fight for the driver's title, as he currently sits 106 points behind Verstappen, he has been as fast as Lando, if not faster at times. As I pointed out earlier in the video, he was faster than his teammate over the opening laps at Monza. Lando Norris didn't manage to gain any time on Oscar during their final stint either. After both had pitted for a second time, the gap was 2.359 seconds. By the time they took the checkered flag, it was 3.489 seconds. While the team could have helped Lando, it's hard to tell the statistically faster driver that he has to give up a position that he's earned. At the Italian Grand Prix, Lando didn't do enough to earn a position switch, but the question is, should McLaren have done it anyway? If you're a Lando fan, then you might argue yes. But after the race, Lando said that while he would have loved to have that position, it really isn't up to him to decide, it is the team's decision. He didn't appear to have any hard feelings towards Oscar though, and was very honest about his own shortcomings during the race. When you're fighting for a championship, you want every little thing, and I'm doing everything I can. The best way simply is to just win the race, and I didn't do that today because of some silly things. So yeah, this is for the team, not me. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff has plenty of recent experience of using team orders to help one of his drivers win the championship. Valtteri Bottas was sacrificed time and again to help Hamilton win races and championships, and Wolff said after the Italian Grand Prix that McLaren should start doing the same thing. At the end, you don't want to lose out on a championship by 3 or 5 points that you could have easily made. For those who remember the Mercedes team over the turbo hybrid era, you'll probably have fond memories of the Rosberg years. When Hamilton was closely matched by his teammate, the racing was exciting because you never quite knew who was going to come out on top. The fiery relationship between Hamilton and Rosberg created an exciting battle for race wins, and in 2016 the championship. However, once Rosberg left and Valtteri Bottas joined the team, that was lost. The dreaded radio message of Valtteri, it's James always ended in Bottas either swapping positions or being given disadvantageous strategies to try and help Lewis. While Hamilton fans love to see their driver win, it didn't make for exciting racing. The British media may be desperate for McLaren to invoke team orders and sacrifice Oscar to help Lando, but no one wants another Valtteri Bottas. There have been plenty of complaints over the past few years about the situation at Red Bull between Checo and Verstappen as well. Oscar's manager Mark Webber knows the pain of being made the second driver, and there's no way he'll let Piastri suffer the same way he did alongside Sebastian Vettel at Red Bull. Should McLaren invoke team orders to help Lando? Maybe, but he has to earn it. If Lando had been able to catch Piastri during the race, then they would have been in the right to ask Oscar to let Lando pass as he was the faster driver, but that didn't happen. You have to earn team orders, and at Monza, Lando didn't. But what do you think? Should McLaren have told Piastri to switch, even though he was the faster driver? Or do you think McLaren should let their drivers race? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.